I showed you this Dareu keyboard a couple of weeks ago, but as you might know, 10 keyless is not really my thing, which is why I have this baby in my hands. I think it might become my main, and I guess you'll find out on your boot sequence. So yeah, a couple of weeks ago, I showed you guys this keyboard and it has the perfect look for a stunning black on black aesthetic. But when they sent over this one to check out, they also sent me this one, the A98. And I gotta say, this puppy is definitely the daily driver that I was looking for. You see, right now on my desk at home, I'm using the Keychron K4. I made a review about it a few months ago. And while I have to admit that it's a great keyboard, I mean, the battery life on this thing is it has two things that bug me. First, it's only wireless via Bluetooth, which is a lot less reliable than a dongle. And secondly, the way the whole layout is compressed makes it tough to sometimes hit the control or shift key on the right side of the keyboard, or even the delete key since it's completely relocated. Like there's just no space between them for sort of feeling around. That's where the A98 comes in. It's a freaking beauty. This specific model is the industry gray one, as you can see. Let me take it out the box for a second. I mean, I've been using it for like a month, but just bear with me here. So yeah, this specific model is the industry gray one, but there's also a blue and a red model. I'll be honest, the industry gray looks very blue to me, but who knows, maybe I'm colorblind. So let's see what's in the box. Of course, you got the keyboard right here, and then you have two boxes. I haven't opened them because I just used the keyboard with a USB-C cable. Here, a nice thick USB A to C cable. Very good to see that. And on the other box, I believe this will be the fancy keycaps that I've not been using. So let me pull it out. There you go. Some fancy keycaps. And of course, this one comes with a keycap puller and key switch puller. So now that we know everything that comes with it, let's talk specs. This keyboard connects in 3 different ways using this little switch right here. It's either with USB Type-C, Bluetooth 5.1, and of course, my favorite, it has a 2.4 gigahertz dongle. What I really like about this dongle is that there's a little spot here to just slide it in. No annoying doors that you might lose. Battery-wise, it's fantastic. It has a huge 4,000 milliamp hour battery, which easily lasted me the whole month I've been using it with RGB off. Dareu quotes up to 45 days, but I mean, I've been testing this keyboard not only at home, but also at work. So it's a little more than 8 hours a day, I'd say. If you keep the RGB on the entire time though, it's about a week's worth of battery. Thankfully, the font is very legible at night and during the day, so keeping the RGB off is a good idea. It has 98 keys, so it's missing a couple like home and print screen and others, but these are all the keys that I personally would ever really use. Size-wise, it's about 20% smaller than a full-size keyboard. Let me get one to compare. Here you go, so size-wise, it's about 15% smaller than a full-size keyboard and about maybe 10% bigger than a 10 keyless. I also have a 60% keyboard right here if you want to see the difference. This keyboard comes with Blue Sky V3 switches, but if you don't like linear keys, it's hot swappable with 3 and 5 pin switches too. Let's talk about the included switches though. The Blue Sky V3s are linear, so no clickities, and they're very light but pretty deep. Total travel is about 4 mil, but the actuation happens at half that, so 2 mil. I don't know how these would feel or sound on a different keyboard, so if it's the switches that you're after, you'll have to test it for yourself. But on this frame, with the 2 thick silicone pads that it's sandwiched in and the gasket-ish mount, these caps feel rock solid and pretty quiet. Let's take a listen compared to some of my other premium keyboards. Let's go. In terms of creature comforts, this thing is also pretty nice. You have 3 levels of elevations, which is always good to see. So flat, all the way up, and of course, just the tiny little legs here. And there's a tiny screen on the top right, as you probably have noticed, that tells you exactly the percentage of battery left. Not gonna lie, I got a lot of wireless keyboard in the last year, and this might be the simplest and most effective battery indicator I've seen. Some keyboards will flash red when they have low battery, but that requires you to have the RGB on, or some of them will just plain die without telling you anything unless you install their software, like the Razer ProType Ultra. Come on, I don't want to install the whole software just to see my battery level. The one downside I see from this keyboard is just the fact that it has no media control at all, or at least no legends for media controls. For me, it's fine since I'm using a Loop Deck Live for that kind of stuff. Let me show it to you real quick. It's this thing right here. Review definitely incoming, but I remember a time where having media controls was a must for me. So it's compact, has hot swap, comes with great switches, has good ergonomics, a great battery life, but for how much? Well, full retail, it's about 180 USD. So, editing Snows here for a little correction. Regular price is apparently $229 US, but right now until the 28th, they're having a sale on their website and the A98 is $169.99. Links are in the description, and keep in mind, I'm not getting any kind of commission here if you buy one. My opinion is formed on the old sale price of $190. But given its features, I mean, it has hot swap, it has RGB, this tiny little screen, all of the gaskets you would want to make it sound just right. I think it's pretty good value. I haven't seen a keyboard that packs this many features and that big a battery at this price point just yet. So yeah, that was my personal opinion, and of course, it's up to you to decide if this is worth it. Anyways, guys, that is pretty much it for today's video. Like it if you liked it, leave a comment if you have any questions or other keyboards you'd like me to check out. I have a pretty long list, but I can probably take 1 or 2. You can click right here to see the latest video, right here to subscribe to the channel. Stay frosty, my dudes, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bong, 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 bong.